Do you want to know what the 5 best rares and mythics are from Modern Horizons for Cube? Well, stay tuned because that's what we're going to be exploring right now. Hello and welcome to Life Begins at 20. My name is Mark and thank you so much for joining me, and if this is your first time here, welcome, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any of my future content, and if you enjoy the video as well, make sure you hit that thumbs up. So Modern Horizons has given us some pretty impressive cards. I mean, Pauper got an incredible amount of amazing cards that have just push that little, power creep up and made them even better. Uncommon's got some great cards as well, and if you've missed either of those two videos, there'll be a card on the top screen for you now, and also links in the description below for you can check those out. But now we're going to be looking at the Rares and Mythics, and don't worry, they didn't leave you out here. There's been some absolutely amazing cards here. Number one, which will probably come as no surprise to anybody, but we'll share that at the end of the video. But let me know in the comment section as well below which cards have you put into your cube. I'd definitely be interested to find out which ones have made the cut and if they've actually made it onto my list or not. Certainly be interested to find out. So without any further ado, let's get stuck in. Starting off with an honourable mention, and realistically it's just because it's a slam dunk for every cube. I can't see many people complaining about paying 1 life to get a basic land coming into play untapped. This is certainly a better evolving Wilds. It's a card that will see play in many decks, and for me it's a slam dunk in any powered or unpowered cube. So moving on to the other honourable mention here, and that is Giver of Runes. Automatically people would compare this to Mother of Runes, but this isn't close to the same power level due to not being able to protect herself. This means that the opportunity to kill her is a lot more often than Mother, making her a lot easier to deal with. Think of her more as a better Dauntless Bodyguard or Benevolent Bodyguard, and you're onto a winner. If you feel that you need another effect like this in your cube, then definitely give this a shot, but just remember, Mother is always best. At number 5, Green get themselves a better deranged Hermit in the form of Deep Forest Hermit. While the Echo cost is now being replaced by Vanishing 3, I definitely prefer that due to the countless number of times that I've paid the 1 mana, only to see him be removed. Here you don't need to pay that and potentially have the opportunity to swing in with your 4/2/2 squirrels before he leaves play. He's just as good in the same decks, and if Deranged Hermit is still in your cube, I'd seriously consider replacing him. Moving on to number 4, and while this card is not on the same power level as Path to Exile, the 1 extra mana and sorcery speed certainly doesn't make Winds of Abandon bad. I'd put this up there as one of the best second tier pieces of white removal. The overload cost adds to the versatility of the card, allowing you to utilise it as a board wipe, granted a fairly expensive one. I can see this card mainly being used as a better Journey to Nowhere, and for that on its own, I certainly think it's worth giving a try. At number 3, Red get themselves another good 3-drop in the form of Seasoned Pyromancer. This 2/2 enters the battlefield with the potential of drawing you 2 cards and creating 2 more power and toughness over 2 bodies. While I can perfectly understand that some players may well be hesitant to discard cards, being able to discard lands or spells that won't gain an impact to cash in potentially more gas could well be worth it. Plus, if you're utilising this to fill your graveyard or discard spells with flashback, then it doesn't feel quite as bad. It's a great top deck later on in the game too to refuel your hand. I can certainly see a lot of people putting this into their cubes because I think it's a card that red decks definitely want. Coming in at number 2, we potentially have one of the best 4 mana white planeswalkers, which is saying a lot considering the vast number of great ones we have access to, in the form of Serra the Benevolent. Her ultimate creates you a worship token which really isn't as oppressive as you may initially think. Utilising combinations of a -3 followed by a +2 is where you'll get the most work done from her. Being able to create a Serra Angel to Defender is fantastic. A really solid 4/4 defender, and the Vigilance puts a clock on the opponent. Plus on subsequent turns you can pump it up to a 5/5 alongside any other creatures you may have, plus giving them flying to swing over the top. This pseudo anthem compared to other similarly costed options makes this a great mana investment. Plus, if you need to add more pressure, getting a second Angel token should see you across the finish line. Overall, I think she's a really impressive 4 mana Planeswalker, and while that guild slot is extremely stacked, I think you need to find a slot for her. And coming in at number 1, which comes to no surprise I'm sure to many of you, is the best card in the set which appears in green, and that is Hexdrinker. Here you're getting a 2-1 for 1 with a huge upside. The level up mechanic allows you to spend mana to potentially make this a mini Progenitus. Plus having the level up being colourless really does allow this to be splashable in a whole manner of decks. Realistically though, with Hexdrinker, you're probably playing this as a 4-4 with protection from instants for 4 mana. Then when you have the excess mana later on in the game, you can sink it in here to make it pretty much unstoppable. For me, this is an absolute slam dunk into Cube, even if you're only really going to be using it in a green aggro or mid-range deck. So there we have my top 5 rares and mythics from the set, plus a couple of honourable mentions there. And yes, there are probably more cards that are worth the test, but for me, these were the ones that really stood out and the ones that I think that definitely could make them as well a kind of home in cubes. So let me know as well in the comment section below which cards you've put into your cubes. Have I missed any out? Was there different orders that you would have liked to have seen? I would really be like to know which ones have made the impact from this absolutely incredible set into your cubes. And if you've missed any of the previous videos, either the commons or the uncommons, there'll be a card on the screen now for you for the playlist with those, or link in the description as well below for you, so you can go and check those out. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button because it really does help the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any of my future content and all of the upcoming videos, not only from this set review, but also for Throne of Eldraine, which is being spoiled right now. And I mean, some of those cards look amazing. I was just going to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.